Hello guys, this is gonna be my first video on this channel, and I thought that I'd do something because, I'm a teenager, I've got political ideas, and I don't want to be interrupted every 5 minutes when I say them, so this is the best place for me to do it. I'm gonna make a video. So today we're talking about Gina Carano. She was fired from Mandalorian after social media post. Now, we got this right here that we're gonna look at, but let me duplicate this. We're gonna go back. This is what I looked up. I looked up Gina Carano. Probably not the best thing. I probably should have looked up the, what's it called? The actual controversy. But let's just we got this one, we got this one. So this one's the one that I clicked on here. We got this one, which is right there. And then we're going to grab this one and this one. Just to, grab the first four. And you know what? Whoops, I went to page 3. I meant to go to page 2. We're going to grab a couple off of page 2. We're just going to look at the top news sources as far as results go. And then I also can look up, so we're going to grab this one, and we're going to grab this one. Okay, I know what I'm doing here. And then we're going to take Gina Carano tweet, which I've also looked up. And then we're going to grab, I'm trying to find the Fox News one, which I haven't taken yet. And then we're also going to do ABC, because why not? And so she deleted her tweet, but in case you guys don't know, guess what? We got this mad lad who, I'm going to link the video in the description, but he managed to find the tweet, and he has it on video, so I'm going to full screen it here, and then just see if I can't zoom in a bit. I can't zoom in. Okay. Well, anyway, if you can't read it, this is the tweet. It's a picture, and it says, Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. And then there's an emoji. I can't tell what that is. And then it says, because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? Okay, so that is the tweet, and then we have a picture down here, and this picture is a lady running away. We're assuming that she's a Jew. At least that's what I get from the picture. And then you have a boy right here with a baseball bat, it looks like, or some kind of big stick. It's fairly thick. And then you've got a bunch of people behind her running after her, and she appears to be in undergarments, not actual, clothes, I can't reach this page. Hold on. I also had an issue with this one. Sorry, my internet's not epic. So let's look through here. This is by the AP News. I'm going to link all these articles in the description. It's going to be a ton of links because I decided to look at so many. But it says, Lucasfilm says Gina Carano is no longer part of the Mandalorian cast after many online called for her firing over social media posts that likened the experience of Jews during the Holocaust to the U.S. political climate. Now, hold on. That is the first sentence of this article. Now let's go back here, go back to this tweet. We're going to look at the tweet. It says, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. And she likens not the experience of being beaten, to the experience of the Jews, to the U.S. political climate. She likens the process. That's very different. And also, if we can't even look at history, they say if you don't remember history, you'll forget it and you're doomed to repeat it. Something like that. That's how the saying goes. If we can't even look at the process that brought about the Holocaust without causing some kind of political controversy, how are we ever going to be able to stop it? And here's my thing. If the Jews really were so angry about the Holocaust, which I imagine a lot of them were, they didn't want it to happen, I'm sure. That's not anything that anybody would wish on themselves. But if they're so angry by it and worried by it, which I'm not even sure if that's what they are, but, it definitely wasn't a good thing. I'm sure that most people can agree with that. Then they wouldn't want it to happen again. And by looking at the process from which it happened, we can prevent another one from happening. So I don't see why Jews aren't on the side of this tweet trying to show that we're going down a bad path. And it doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you're on. You could be on the left, you could be on the right. They both view each other as enemies, and neither one wants to help the other one. They see each other as political enemies, and if you did have a neighbor like that, I'm sure that you would disagree and hate them. And you see that from both sides. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you lean right or lean left, you can see that. You can see that there are definitely Republicans who hate Democrats, and there are definitely Democrats that hate Republicans. You can just see that. So now, let's move on to the rest of these and see what these other articles say. Now, I haven't actually read through all the articles, so we're just going to see how they paint it. So this is NPR. Let's see. Lucasfilm has fired Gina Carano from her job on The Mandalorian after the action star posted on social media that today's political climate in the U.S. is similar to Nazi Germany's treatment of Jews. No. The U.S. political climate is a step towards the treatment of Jews. It's not similar to the treatment of Jews. There's a big difference there. She's saying that this is a path that we're going down that could lead us to something like the Holocaust. She's not saying that it is what happened in the Holocaust. Well, I suppose I phrased that incorrectly. Allow me to rephrase. This is a step down a path that could lead to something similar to the Holocaust, but the Holocaust is not what is happening here. She's saying that we can look at this example from history, from the Holocaust, and see that we are going down a similar path. But she's not saying that what we have today is the same as the Holocaust was. It's not to the same extent. She's saying this is step 1, or step 10 maybe, or whatever step of going down a path that will lead to another Holocaust. And the Holocaust and all the stuff there was actually like step 200 or something. She's saying that we're getting close. Okay, let's move on. We have Deadline. In the wake of Gina Carano's controversial social media post, Lucasfilm has released a statement Wednesday night with a spokesperson saying that Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, the social media post denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. That's from Lucasfilm, so that's not actually like an opinion of the article. Let's see. The actress shared a TikTok post comparing the current divided political climate in the U.S. to Nazi Germany. Okay, that is pretty accurate, actually. So that statement's pretty good. So Deadline's okay on this. Let's go to, what is this? This is, pause the video. KTLA5. I don't even know what this is. Is this just Los Angeles local news? I think it is. Like in the experience of the Jews during the Holocaust to the U.S. Okay, so there's that one. Then we have this one. The Mandalorian star Gina Carano fired amid social media controversy. Let's see here. After sharing a post on social media implying that being a Republican today is like being Jewish during the Holocaust. Hold on. There's nothing about Republican in here. But if we take a look at the reply, not people seriously trying to defend her for this one. This wasn't a reach. Wait, hold on. We don't see the actual first reply here. Never mind. There was a reply over here that said it likened it, but it must be further on in the video. Anyway, she didn't say anything about Republicans. She said that it's like the political climate today, hating them for their political views, and that's both on the left and the right. The right hates the left for their political views, and the left hates the right for their political views. It's the same on both sides. So there's no reason to be saying that it is like being a Republican. Then we have this one. Lucasfilm UTA dropped Mandalorian star Gina Carano following offensive social media posts. Not currently employed by Lucasfilm, the company said in a statement. Okay, that is the statement. Let's see. Night after including one that likened to contemporary political differences to the treatment of Jews in Nazi Germany. Not the treatment of Jews. It's a step down the path to end up in Nazi Germany. That is the difference. But see, what they're trying to do is they're trying to say that it's an anti-Semitic post, which it's clearly not intended to be an anti-Semitic post. It's not saying that the Jews' experiences weren't as bad as they were. It's not trying to disenfranchise that. It's not trying to say that... You know what I'm saying here. It's not a anti-Semitic post. It's just analyzing something that happened in the past, an event that happened in the past, and saying, we're getting close to a point where we might end up going down this path again. She's not saying that what happened to the Jews didn't happen, or that it wasn't that bad, or that nobody should care about it. That's not what's happening. Let's look at Fox News. Gina Carano was reportedly dropped from her role in The Mandalorian following backlash she received from social media posts in which she compared today's political divide to the events in Nazi Germany. There we go. That one has it right. The events in Nazi Germany, not the treatment of the Jews. They're connecting it. A lot of these news sources are connecting it to the wrong thing, to enrage people and make them hate other people even more. And that's not something good, because as you can see in the post, that'll lead to something bad. Okay, we have, what is this? 11 eyewitness news. Okay, this is ABC. Okay. Los Angeles. Lucasfilm says Gina Carano is no longer part of the Mandalorian cast after many online call for firing over social media posts that liken the experience of Jews during the Holocaust to the U.S. political climate. No, it likened the events, not the experience of Jews. There's a difference. Okay, now what else was I going to say about this? Yes, okay, so I have a government class, because I'm a teenager, I'm a senior in high school, okay? So that's where I line up. So I'm in my government class, and we're talking about free speech today.
One of the stars of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus is dropped from the show. Gina Carano was fired after a social media post comparing being...
Okay. I personally hate that they do that. Let me actually just mute that. Okay, you can't hear jack squat from the browser, so if something else pops up, you won't be able to tell. Actually, you can't hear anything from my computer except for my microphone. That should fix it. Okay, so talking in my government class, and our topic for today was free speech. And I'm like, well, now would be a great time to bring this up, because I was actually watching a video right before it. I got done with my second hour a little bit early, so then I was watching it in between second hour and third hour, because today we're a virtual day. We actually had a 2-hour delay and then a virtual day. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. So we get to the government class, and I bring up, this thing with Gina Carano and how this happened, and I said that she got fired, And so the first response I got was, the companies have the right to fire. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's not something that I had an issue with. And I tried to explain it that it's not that I had an issue with it. It's that there was so much outrage, and I couldn't understand why there was so much outrage, because she was pointing out, or rather, let me rephrase again, because I said that a little bit incorrectly. I can understand why there is so much outrage, but I don't think that the outrage is warranted, if you can understand what I'm saying there. So I was trying to explain to them that I didn't understand that the outrage, or I didn't think that the outrage was warranted. And so then they said, well, one of my friends who leans left a little bit, I think, she said that she has some Jewish friends, and she was talking to them, and she had only, I guess she had been looking into what is really anti-Semitism recently. She didn't really make that clear, but it sounded like she had been actually looking into it in recent times. And she said that she was talking to some of her Jewish friends, and they said that they thought that it was, kind of anti-Semitic, this post. And so that's what she said. And I go, well, I don't think that it is really, because it's not saying that, basically I said everything that I said in this video. I said, I don't think that that it's disenfranchising their experience. It's not saying that the experience was right, that we should do it again, or anything like that. And it's not saying that the Jews didn't go through anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have the qualities that would make it anti-Semitic, at least not to me. And she goes, well, are you Jewish? And I go, no, I'm not Jewish, but I still don't think that it has those qualities, and I don't think that we should be going back on her so much, because we're trying to look at history. And then my government teacher chimed in. She goes, I can understand what he's saying, with that he's saying that we need to be able to look at history to learn from it again, to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And I go, yes, that's kind of what I'm saying, but not exactly what I'm saying. But now we're getting into a little bit of some shaky waters. But anyway, like I was saying, it just doesn't seem right to me that there is so much, even a post pointing out that there is so much of a difference in political views and people are being hated and hunted down for them. And then you have hate and people being hunted down from the post. It's ironic in and of itself that a post trying to point out the hate and how trying to help stop it, I suppose, then gets knocked off the internet from the hate. And this thing is crashed or something. So, I just closed that. Okay. Anyway, I thought that it was weird that there was so much backlash from it. And I don't think that it's right. So that's where I line up on the subject. But like I said, I'm just a teenager, I've watched a lot of political stuff recently. Really, after the 2016 election, I got into politics. I was into politics a little bit before that, but not actually into the politics part of politics. I followed some very small news things. So then after the 2016 election, I started looking into it more because I thought that I had lived through Obama's elections, both the first one and the second one, although I was like a kindergartner for the first one. But I was like, I saw them, and it really seemed awfully peaceful to me compared to the Trump and Hillary one. And there was so much, like, even my history teacher at the time, she was like, we've never had anything like this before. It could be the first female president and everything. And so I got looking into it because I'm like, this is interesting. There's so much stuff going on, so many new things. I want to actually, like, look at stuff. So I got to looking at stuff around that time. And hold on really quickly. I got to figure out when my next class is. Because I'm technically still in school. We got out of my 4th hour is a study hall. So I literally just got done with 3rd hour, which is what I'm telling you about. Okay, hold on. I think I have time. So we're not going to worry about it until 55, which is 7 minutes. So I got 7 more minutes. But, okay. So as I was talking, I got into the politics after the 2016 election, started looking at some stuff, and I leaned, I don't know, it was kind of all over the place, really. It's like you put a magnet in that magnet liquid that spikes everywhere. That was about where I landed on the political spectrum. My views were everywhere. So then one of my friends gave a speech on the problems with being a female athlete. And I can sympathize that you guys don't get paid a lot, the female athletes. But then I researched it more on my own, and I saw there's actually a reason behind this. It's supply and demand economics, really. But going beyond that, there's issues surrounding that, and I learned about the gender pay gap, and then I was like, well, that's terrible. There shouldn't be such a thing. And then I looked into it more, and I'm like, oh, wait, this was only from one study. This study didn't do it properly. And so once you get looking into some stuff, like my views went from everywhere to probably I'd say leaning left, and then once I got looking at stuff, they went to leaning right, which is a little bit where they stand now. I'm more of a libertarian, but I lean right on a lot of political views. Definitely not a Republican, but okay. So now that we have that out of the way of where I stand on this and where this is coming in the political spectrum, then once we hit the 2020, or no, let's see. It would be about 2018, I'd say a couple years ago, I really got into politics. Like, I started watching 6 hours of politics a day. I'd play video games, and then I'd have politics up on the other screen, and I'd be going through videos. Like, I've got 1,000 videos in my watch later. Most of them are political videos, because I stopped keeping up, actually, after recently. But just all the stuff that happened, and all the different controversies, I don't know, it doesn't make much sense. It's like, this is what I'd compare it to. I feel like with the current political climate, Republicans and Democrats are treated as almost two separate species. They're not the same, and neither side treats them the same. And that's weird to me, because we're all humans, and so I don't understand why we can't get along. I can understand the differences in opinions, but I don't think that that's a good enough warrant for the things that are happening. So that's where I stand with everything. It just doesn't make much sense to me. All the fighting and everything. It doesn't even have to happen. Things before recently, everything was verbal. You'd talk about it. You'd talk it over, and then you'd figure it out when you're talking it over. And then suddenly they all became physical. And now people are fighting physically. They're hurting other people, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to happen. And it seems like a lot of people are throwing away their political beliefs. Or what I should say is they're not following them as closely as they would, even though that they say that they are. So some people that say that they don't believe in violence or violence shouldn't happen, but then they participate in violence, and that doesn't make any sense. So I just see a lot of that. I see a lot of things happening that I don't think should be happening. And I wanted to give a perspective from a younger generation, I suppose. And I think that gets lost a little bit. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because there are a lot of, I'd really call them kids, even though I'm an adult, but there are a lot of kids my age that got involved in politics, but they don't know much. They don't know, like, really enough, I think, to warrant getting involved in politics. I got 3 minutes, so we're going to have to wrap this up very quickly. But what I'm saying is, my generation is, like, being pulled apart, basically. And it doesn't seem right, because, I don't know, even now, even in my school, I hear it. I sit at, like, this one lunch table, and then there's a bunch of people that sit behind me at the lunch table. And when there's nobody else at my lunch table, because one of the guys is sick and the other guy catches up on his homework, and so he stays in the teacher's room to catch up. And then the other guy that I used to sit with, he moved to a different lunch hour. But I can hear the people behind me talking about politics, and they lean the other way from me. They lean left. And just the hatred that they have, or that they show towards those who lean right, and just the differences there, I don't get it. Like, when did it become something where you hated another person? When did it become something that you couldn't talk with another person, like have an actually good discussion to reach like some sort of conclusion? Like, you don't interrupt them, you don't yell, you speak calmly, you let the other person finish. Oh wait, I already said that. But basically, when did that go out the door? Because it's gone out the door. It doesn't exist anymore in political discussion. And nor does respect. Respect is something that's long gone. You see videos on the internet of people attacking other people, whether that be people attacking Antifa and Black Lives Matter, or the other way around with having somebody attack a Trump supporter. You see it. You see the violence, and it's like, why is this happening? It doesn't make much sense. And that's something that I see in my life, and I go, I don't want any of it, actually. I don't want the left's ideas. I don't want the right's ideas. In my personal opinion, if we fired every single person that held a political office, I know that it can't happen, but if all of them left office and we got in a whole new fresh batch that had never served in a political office before, I know that our country's start would be very rough from that point, but I feel like the country would benefit quite a lot from that. And mind you, these are people who have never participated in politics before at all. I'd be out because I've looked at politics stuff. I don't know if you could actually find enough Americans in the country to take these spots. But if you could find people that are disinterested in politics, not uninterested in politics, just disinterested in politics, then I feel like you would be able to construct a better government than what we have now. Not to say that we need to get rid of the Constitution. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just to replace those who serve in the legislative process, even the president, those in the Supreme Court, every single political office, just replace them. And I think that you could have a much better working machine. It would be grindy at the start, but once you get things greased and they know what they're doing, I feel like it could work much better than this broken down, worn out, like basically old car that we have right now. That's what I'd say the government is. So that's where I line up on stuff. I'm mostly in the middle. I'm a libertarian, so that's where I'd put myself. Not everything with libertarian. I'm more of an independent, but my views lean libertarian and right most of the time. Now, I do have some left-leaning views, but, we'll talk about those in a future video. Right now, I'm out of time. I got to go to my next class. So I'll see you all later. Thank you guys for watching. Links to all the articles and stuff are going to be in the description. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe if you want to see more like this. And stay safe, I guess. Have peaceful discussions. I don't really know how to end this video, so goodbye.